Ready. Play.
There we go. There we go. And we are live. Hello, welcome to Talking Tennis. After a few technical difficulties, I am on your screen. It's me, Jack, from On the Line. I'm here to talk you through the Iga Swiatek and Veronika Kudermetova semi-final tonight in Madrid. We are still waiting on Nick. He shouldn't be too long, I believe. I think he's just round the corner. I mean, I'm going to get a comment on this when Nick appears. The sunburn is terrible. I barely caught any sun. I don't know what happened. It was barely out. Apologies for that. Apart from that, though, I'm feeling good. I'm quite excited for this one. It should be good. I've not actually got my stream up yet. Let me just do it now. As I am doing so, I'll give us some thoughts. I believe they are just starting the match now. Does Veronika Kudermetova have a chance? I think that's probably the main question in everybody's mind. Is she going to get absolutely thumped here? As I've just seen, Swiatek is 30 love up at the moment. From the ground, it's unlikely she wins many rallies. I'll be honest, that's the bad news. However, we all know how good a serve she's got. I don't know if you've got to see any of Kudermetova's matches before, fans at home, but she is a monster in that department. And in Madrid, obviously, with the altitude, with how fast the serve comes through the court, she could win a few free points using that. However, you can't get by winning 3 points in your serve for the whole match against Iga Swiatek. So honestly, I feel like this is going to be a little bit of a drubbing because that's about the only way she wins points for me. That's the bad news. The good news is Swiatek's been playing some absolutely great tennis. I expect it's going to be very, very, very entertaining. The last match she played, of course, it will come back to me, Petra Martic. That was it. Petra Martic in the quarterfinals, who could have been a bit of a threat. Petra Martic, of course, 6 players played in the top 20 in 2022, 6 wins. So she's had scalps before. Obviously, it seemed a little bit improbable going into the match, Swiatek on clay and all that, but you never know. Players with that sort of red line, they can do stuff, and Swiatek dispatched the threat very, very immediately. So she's in that sort of mood. She's a bit of a confidence player, Swiatek, of course, as we've seen from the start of the year. Just gone into matches looking a little bit flat, looking a little underconfident. It's almost like when she's losing, she loses big, and when she's winning big. Of course, apart from that match against Ekaterina Alexandrova in the quarterfinals, right, or the 4th round even, that was fantastic. That was about the closest match I think we've seen Swiatek win this year, the most sort of steely one, and maybe that's why she's in such fine fickle now, because she's so prepared by that match. There's Nick flashing onto the screen. There we go.
Hey, Jack, you all right?
Yeah, good, thank you. How are you? You haircut, Nick?
Yes. Well, I thought it was about time. You know, I need to make sure I'm presentable for the fellow talking tennis fans.
Yeah, I said that as well. And somehow I've caught some sun underneath my eyes and don't look particularly presentable. However,
so is that not sunburn left over from your trip to the desert?
No, actually, I barely got burnt in the desert, and then ironically, of course, it's the sliver of sunlight that we get in Scotland that's burnt my face, unfortunately. How are you, Nick? Did you catch the end of that there? You can answer the first question first, and then second.
I genuinely didn't. I've not been listening to much. I've been sort of sat, just getting my voice back a little bit. But go on. What was the question?
Just does Kudermetova have a chance, and do you think that the Alexandrova match has actually stood Swiatek in very good stead? Because it's rare she gets a match to sort of build up her game like that, right? How often has she played a match like that this year?
This year, not very often. Definitely not. To answer to your question, to both your questions, is yes. I think Kudermetova is a very good player. She's got good caliber to her. She's got some good wins under her belt. She's got a game where she can produce some big shots sometimes. So I think she's a strong player. I think Iga should be able to be more than a match for her if she's having a good day, though. which she appears to be at the minute. Because look at this rally.
I'll just say I said this before. She was love 40 up. I'm standing by it. I don't think Kudermetova's got a chance from the ground, unfortunately. Which basically means unless she has the serving day of her life, which is unlikely, just doesn't really happen. Swiatek wins this 99 times out of 100 for me. It's not a great matchup, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I was thinking, Swiatek will have the advantage of the matchup, but weird days happen in tennis. I mean, look, I've just come out of a match where I figured, Tsitsipas has got a wide open route to the final in the men's, and
Struff's the kind of guy that can take the backhand return out of Tsitsipas's hands for sure. He's got a big enough serve and volley game that I imagine that's what happened. I was in court for it, unfortunately. I believe. Oh, okay.
Yeah, he serve volleyed a lot. I mean, to be fair, I have never watched Jan-Lennard Struff play.
Oh, okay.
At least if I have, it was against a big four player, which would be a very different scenario. Which he doesn't have a great record.
He played to Roger. He played against Roger once, maybe. I think Australia, possibly, something like that. But yeah, he's got an imposing game when it's not somebody who is one of the greatest players of all time on the other side of the net, for sure.
Yeah, and now his head-to-head with Tsitsipas is 3-3.
Yes, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. I mean, if he directs a really big serve to the backhand and he's good at coming forward, I mean, he's a big guy, then why not? There was always a chance there, and it looked like a close match, right? So,
yeah. And to answer your other question, has the Alexandrova match helped Iga? Yes, I think so. Has
to have. Like, she just looks so much more confident now, right? I'm just looking up the stats. I did think that was the first deciding set of her year. She hasn't played another deciding set, win or loss.
Yeah, that's right. Big winner from Swiatek to get that game and break Kudermetova. 2-love.
Love it. I love seeing Iga like this, honestly. Just confident and amazing.
Iga in full flow is just beautiful tennis to me. And that's why I'm such a massive fan of hers. Just when everything just works from the back, from both sides, beautiful strokes, and the moments of how on earth did she get that in? Just jaw dropping. So yeah, we could, if you're in for, if you don't mind sort of one sided scoreline, it's just great to watch.
Yeah, I think as an partial fan, I love that every so often. Just a proper bulldozing, crazy, confidence-dripping performance. That's what I'm here for. I mean, one of the best stats for me, Nick, is the fact that Swiatek has dropped serve 1, 2, 3, 4, and then Pliskova 5, 6, 7, 8 times in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches.
8 times 8 matches. That's insane.
It's mad. Obviously, it's insanely mad. Yeah, and there's matches there where she's not dropping serve. Like the Sabalenka one was just mind blowing. The fact she didn't get her serve broken there, and then even against Alexandrova, only twice she got her serve broken. Twice. I mean, it's jaw dropping stuff. Like
it is
so good.
And I think going back to what we were saying about the Alexandrova match, there are frequently when you look at big tournaments that players have won, typically there has been one match that is mid-draw that switches something on in them where they've had a real test, and they hit, and then they're up and running in top gear by the time they get to the back end of the tournament. And I think the Alexandrova matches, it could well be that have that effect for Iga.
My theory on that, I suppose, Nick. Oh, sorry, she played Pliskova. That was a deciding set as well. So that was her second deciding set. My theory on that is if she's in conditions that don't suit her necessarily, she needs something just to spark up, feel a bit more confident as the tournament goes on. A sort of gritted out win. Because if she's not confident in the conditions, then she goes into these finals, as of this year, where the confidence is kind of oozed and not oozed, to and froed even. She needs something just to make sure she's feeling a bit more confident. So here in Madrid, okay, it's on clay, that's underfoot, but the altitude should suit somebody with a bigger serve. So I feel like if she hadn't had that Alexandrova match, going into a final with Sabalenka, I think Sabalenka could be winning that, or could be the favourite, definitely.
Yeah.
But because she's been played into form now, Nick, I'm not so sure. 30 all, by the way, on the Swiatek serve.
Yeah, I was saying this on the previous commentary when I briefly alluded to it when we were talking about predictions, and like before the tournament, I predicted Sabalenka to win the title because I wasn't entirely sure where to put Iga. I thought she might have some issues with Krejcikova, and then Krejcikova went out, and I thought, okay, maybe not. And then the Alexandrova match happened, and yeah, I'm with you. Like suddenly, I'm like, and Sabalenka's not looked massively convincing to me at points this tournament. And I'm starting to think, I think I might end up being wrong on that.
She's had a few tough matches, but Sabalenka, in these conditions, I think this is like the best place she could be playing. For somewhere that's going to benefit your serve so much at altitude, so hard to control. But the returns at the same time, if she doesn't get a serve that's as fast as hers into her body, it's different from Stuttgart, where the person can control the serve on the other side. I feel like it sets up a little bit more outdoors. She can control her returns. So not only serve return, and then obviously every other benefit you get with clay for forehands and backhands that are heavily struck. She's just going to be in her element here, basically. I know it's been a little rocky sometimes, but you need to be able to win 3 points in your serve if you're going to beat Iga Swiatek, and it's doable here. Yeah,
and you kind of answered the question I was going to ask you, is that, which tournament has the better condition set for Sabalenka? Is it Stuttgart or Madrid? And from what you're saying, you think it's Madrid?
I'd say Madrid. Yeah, I'd say Madrid. I think you just get a little bit more pop in the serve for sure. And Iga, if it was in a matchup with Iga, I don't think her serve wins her 3 points against Sabalenka anyway. So there is a chance with the return also flying a bit faster that it suits Sabalenka off the first ball on either side, serve or return.
I mean, look, I'm not an expert by any means, but to me, it does look like the Iga Swiatek serve is a little more effective than it was even last year. A little bit bigger.
I've not done a deep dive on it yet, Nick, but I mean, it's the only thing she'll be working on. It's the only thing she'll be working on, right? She's not made it a secret that that's what she's working on. She just keeps talking about the fact, there's holes in her game. It doesn't take a genius to figure out what the holes in her game are, right? It's her serve, and it looks more poppy. There's no way she's going to be spot serving like Ash Barty anytime soon until she's properly sorted it out. But it looks a little bit faster than it was last season, and that does help her, even if it's not putting the ball away immediately. It sets her up for a pretty easy next shot a lot of the time, relative to her standard. I mean, Nick, not like a put away shot, but you know what I mean. Just to gives her, if you give Iga a little bit more time in the ball, you're done.
And like, how long did it take Ash Barty to perfect that spot serve? She was 22, 23 when she really hit her stride.
That's true.
So
yeah, that's true. It took a while. It did take a while. But a lot of that was, there was the potential there for a good spot serve. I mean, Ash Barty's serve is like, anybody in the world should be copying that. She's like 5 foot and 5'5", and she's like slamming aces down the tee consistently. I mean, it's unreal. So I think she's technically got one of the best serves of all time. You can tell with Iga's, a lot of her upbringing has been on clay. There's been a lot of emphasis on just kicking the serve a lot of the time. The flat serve's just so undervalued, I guess, at this stage in her career. So it will take a while before she gets that, definitely. And maybe there's a few technical changes, big technical changes she'll have to make.
Yeah, but we've seen many great players change it. I mean, if you look at how much on the men's side, Novak Djokovic's serve has become more effective.
Yeah. He did kind of overhaul that pretty late in his career. So absolutely. I mean, he was off for a fair while to not to sort that out, but incidentally sorted that out at the same time. We've seen people like that do it. You're right. That's a great, I guess, doing that, Nick. If Iga wants to be a great, maybe it's exactly the same situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, I can't. It's difficult for me to compare to the women's game, because the only kind of recent great we've had is Serena Williams, and I'm not that familiar with how much her game has evolved.
Well, her serve was just always fantastic.
Yeah, her serve was always great. Yeah.
Her serve's always been fantastic. So I don't know how much spot serving training she did there. Honestly, the pace of her serve probably made up for. She hit aces, obviously, but it was just so powerful, and the next shot was so powerful that it didn't really matter a lot of the time where she put the serve, which maybe will be Iga's game at the end of the day. We'll see. Nick, we'll see. Some players are spot servers, some aren't. Definitely, there's a bit of natural talent there as well, for sure. It's very difficult to get that, to a fine art. So.
Yeah. Well, even without a spot serve, Iga Swiatek is leading 3-30.
I was just about to say that we're providing ample commentary for what is at the moment a bit of a drubbing. I'm seeing love 40 at the moment, Nick. I might be just a touch ahead of you.
No, it changed. It just changed as he was peaking.
Might be still a bit ahead because 15:40 now. She's just missed a forehand long. I'll come back 10 seconds maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Missed a forehand long. I'll tell you when I see a forehand go long.
Yeah, maybe might be 20 seconds ahead of you, so I'll come back again just in case.
I now see the forehand go long.
There we go. We're in sync now. Nick, we're in sync.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to disrespect Kudermetova's game too much, but she doesn't have the same kind of peak in terms of ground stroke speed as an Alexandrova, for example. She doesn't hit it quite as flat. She's just not used to playing rallies like this as well. It doesn't happen that often where she's just got to play 9-10 shots in a row. And I mean, above all else, she's had a little bit of a top 10 problem, or at least a deep tournament problem. Kudermetova's on the fringe of the top 10 at the moment. She was a top 10 player last year, but it was all quarterfinals, the odd semi-final. She's not, I think she made this quarters in Guadalajara. That's the best result I can think of off the top of my head. But generally, she's not making deep runs.
She's quarterfinals at the French last year.
Quarterfinals at the French. That totally slipped me by. I forgot about that. Who did she lose to in the French?
I'll have to. I'm literally just getting her stats. Well, her career stats page up because I wanted to look something up. Let me get that draw open.
Yeah, this is a good reminder from John there. Veronika took one game off Iga earlier this year in Dubai.
Yeah. Ooh,
where the conditions were fairly quick. The serve just always comes back. She came back from love 40 there, by the way. She is at juice at the moment.
She lost to Kasatkina in straights.
Yeah. So again, somebody who's going to make you rally, obviously, that makes sense. Definitely. In fact, she would have been better playing Kasatkina somewhere like Madrid, where she could have won 3 points. Again, Iga is a freak of nature when it comes to not giving her opponents 3 points on serve. Case in point there, actually, or the opposite. Kudermetova has just hit a very nice unreturnable serve. But generally, I mean, if you saw the Sabalenka match in Stuttgart, I mean, there was times Sabalenka was hitting serves that should have won her the point outright. And they were coming back deep. Swiatek just swatted them back to the baseline like they were nothing. That was the best part of her game that day for me, her return. And I mean, I think that is the best part of her game, honestly. A lot of the time, sometimes the forehand, obviously, most of the time the forehand, actually, that's unfair, is probably the favourite shot on the court. But the returns can just be unreal sometimes. I'm saying this, Nick, and that's 2 unreturned serves, so 3-1 now to Kudermetova. She is on the board. Yeah.
I'm just having a look at seeing her kind of best results or significant stuff because she's got to a few 500 semi-finals, but I just wanted to have a look and see how significant those draws were, if that makes any sense, because obviously it depends on the type of 500.
I think that's always a very good point. You can beat the rest of the tour, right? But if you're not beating top 10 players, it doesn't matter how you get to the semi-final of a 500. Eventually you're going to have to play a big player in one of these big events. Maybe Kudermetova's only got so much in the tank.
I mean, she has won a 500. She won Charleston in 2021. She beat Paula Badosa in the semi-final. That was when Paula Badosa was kind of reaching her peak. It's just before she won the Indian Wells. That's probably her most impressive career result.
What was that? A win against Badosa?
Yeah.
A peaking Badosa.
So she beat Badosa 6-3, 6-3 in the Charleston semi-finals on her way to the title, which is her biggest title of her career.
That is quite a big deal, I guess. But Badosa can also be accused of being a little passive in terms of her rally ball. It's heavy, but a lot of the time it does give you the opportunity to dictate if you're willing to counter the weight of the shot. It's not a slight in Badosa, it's just how she plays.
Yeah, I think the only other thing I can think of is kind of comparable in terms of a deep run is she got to the 2021 Abu Dhabi final and again a 500. She beat Badosa and Svitolina and then lost to Sabalenka in the final.
I think I remember getting smoked by Sabalenka. I want to say 2-3 or 3-2.
But again, it's very similar kind of players. You say very high rally to you can deal with the pace that's coming at you with Badosa and with Svitolina.
Yeah, but somebody who could blow you off the court, generally she's not got that bar to her game where she can raise it and sort of match them toe for toe. Doesn't happen.
I'm having a look back at Roland Garros and seeing who she beat to get to the quarters. There, so obviously, let's see, Kudermetova. So she beat in last year's Roland Garros to get to the quarterfinals. She beat Badosa again. There's another name.
Okay.
But Badosa did retire during that match. Then she beat Madison Keys, and then lost to Kasatkina.
Yeah. Or did Keys beat herself? I mean, we'd have
to have the highlights up for that.
Yeah, we would, exactly. Anyway, yeah, I stand by it. I've not seen a match where I've thought, wow, this Kudermetova woman can really, destroy any opponent she sees. I'm not very impressed with her, with the peak of her game. Yeah, go for it. Why not? He's got a few good looking guests. Not many on the screen there, unfortunately, but I have had a few in the past, I promise. Check it out. I don't know why I'm dissing the producer there, because he's been nice enough to put up my podcast. Yeah, please go check it out. It's called On the Line.
Yeah, it's a very, very good podcast, especially
Thanks,
get all that fantastic statistical insights that I don't think, actually, I'm going to say this now, you definitely don't get anywhere else.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. You've not looked too hard, Nick, so I appreciate that. But thank you very much.
Let's face it, none of the mainstream stuff really goes into the right stats, and then none of the other tennis podcasts that I've listened to, and I've listened to a fair few, cover it in the same way.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Then thank you very much, Nick.
So I was saying on the Tsitsipas commentary, Scottish intensifies. Actually, that's another thing from the Tsitsipas commentary I need to tell you. I mentioned on the Tsitsipas commentary that we said that you and Vance are commentating on the men's final, and that's just going to be absolutely fascinating to listen to.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't know I was getting accompanied by Vance. Amazing. Yeah, see, when we went to Indian Wells, Nick, it was just like a stats nerdy test for the whole day. It was good fun. Really enjoyed it. He's honestly, when you're just dotting about with Vance, he comes up with do you remember that point from that Djokovic Nadal match 5 years ago at the third game of the second set? And I'm like, no, actually, Vance, my brain's not quite like yours there, but I appreciate what you're saying. He's honestly, his nerdiness just knows no bounds. I love it.
Yeah, that's how he comes up with some really niche tweets. Oh, that was a really good rally. Kudermetova goes long over the baseline, trying to pass Iga at the net, getting out of position.
It was a good play. Do you know, if we want to talk about tactics and strategy that would give Kudermetova a chance in heck, then drop shot, I guess, get Swiatek forward. It's about the only place in the court she's a little bit uncomfortable. But also Kudermetova doesn't really have a drop shot in her arsenal, so
yeah, she did. I felt like she held up pretty well during that rally, given what Swiatek was throwing at her.
Yeah, she did, to be fair. But no, as I say, interesting average topspin forehand there. So your speed's very similar for Swiatek and Kudermetova, 76 miles an hour. You can just see how much heavier Swiatek's hitting it. So if Kudermetova wants to hit the same sort of winner, the same sort of rally tempo, she's got to hit it a lot deeper with a lot less safety, basically. So you don't really realize how heavy Swiatek's hitting the ball until you're down there playing. It's so difficult to counter. There's not many players who can match her in terms of RPM. So just that alone, if she just rallies at 5 out of 10, then a lot of the time she'll win the match. And
very few men can match her for RPM, or not as many.
Yeah, you're right.
Her RPM's up there in top 50.
Yeah, it actually is. No, it's. I mean, you've got a lot of players who hit less than 2,400 RPM on average for their forehand. A lot of players, and I'm talking ATP players. Mm-hmm. It's just how a lot of the time it's off the first ball. The advantage between the ATP and the women. So the returns and the serves are light years in terms of the impact, I guess. That's just because they're used to dealing with serves all the time, so the returns are better, and their serves obviously, just a bigger frame to deliver from a lot of the time. So but apart from that, in a rally, Nick, if you did an underarm feed in right to the baseline, it's going to be about 50-50 for Swiatek and Hubert Hurkacz, for example, who actually did play against each other in an exhibition.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw clips of that. Iga made some good rallies there.
Yeah, she did. I'm pretty sure she won, actually. But obviously, it's an exhibition, but still. It was like a wee tiebreak, basically, to 10. So...
Yeah, the other thing I mentioned, which is that's not really a serious point from the previous stream, was there was a discussion around the various different accents you can hear on Talking Tennis from the commentary team, and I made the comment that if you got you and Tom commentating, it would be double Scotch. If you got Claire on as well, it'd be triple Scotch.
We had it the other day, actually. Yeah. It was double Glaswegian, obviously, as well. I guess Claire's from Lindsay, but that basically is Glasgow.
So triple Scotch. There you go. That's what we need.
Fortunately, you're here as my translator today, Nick. Thank you very much for for assisting.
Well, given over 40 people watching, hello, by the way. I don't think anyone's really having any trouble understanding you. So
that's true. I have heard in the past that it can be tough to understand. Maybe we don't provide subtitles here at Talking Tennis. John typing furiously in the background to keep up with me. No, unfortunately, you'll have to. I'll speak slowly. Don't worry. I'll keep you up to date here, by the way, as well. 4-1 for Swiatek, as you can see from the scoreboard there. At the moment, again, just beating Kudermetova with weight. I don't know if you just saw that last one there, Nick. But she just put a forehand fairly central in the court, and Kudermetova can't defend it. It just pops off the court. A lot of the time you're taking it above your shoulder and stuff. It's just not the sort of balls that Kudermetova's used to hitting. She's not a clay courter by any means. She's one of those sort of hard quarters, Russian hard quarters, St. Petersburg and the like. There's not particularly many clay courts in Russia. No. She's just used to bombing down big serves and playing the +1s a lot of the time. So yeah, again, what looks like an unforced error, but it's just the weight of ball and she can't control it in this altitude. 30-all.
Yeah, definitely. And as we said, the game does not match up well to Iga's, and especially now Iga seems to be really confident right now. And you're right. There's not a lot of. Kudermetova is a very solid player, and there's a reason why she's broken top 10. She's currently 12 in the world, 11 or 12. There's a reason why she's up there, but there's also a reason why she's not cracked that extra level, and it's dealing with sort of the variety and the intensity of shots, be it power or spin, that the top players can provide. Look at that she can't deal with the weight of that backhand at all.
Pay attention to where Swiatek's landing every ball. You're talking a good sort of 2 feet away from the sidelines a lot of the time. It's a very different game from the one she played against Alexandrova, where she felt like she really had to take it on. We saw stats where it was 50% of the shots or something were right on the baseline, 50% weren't. Here, she's outplaying Kudermetova with weight of ball, purely and simply. There was a serve there that just hit the line from Kudermetova. It just gets weighted, spun back to the baseline. She's coming in for a vault. I mean, look at that. How can you get past down the center of the court like that? I mean, that is clutching, Nick, and we're now 5-1 ahead.
I was going to say I'm on the TV in the presence of a qualified LTA official.
Yeah, thank you very much. Just had to pass the test for it, basically. It's cool. Yeah, I'm quite excited to be doing. I love doing tournaments. It's very good fun. So yeah, Nick's referring to my LTA official. I can't remember the exact name.
Like line judging, right?
Not really. No. So basically hosting events for fairly decent players and reffing it a bit and stuff, and sort of settling disputes and that kind of stuff.
Oh, so you're the guy they get calls out when they don't like what the umpires said.
Exactly. Yeah. There you go.
And then you just tell them shut up.
Basically, yeah. Settling disputes, exactly. Inverted comments. A lot of the time it's just you need to know every rule in the book sort of thing. So when weird stuff happens, they'll call on these guys and I'd be like, yeah, it's this and that, whatever. If you're serving and it hits the net post and it goes in, what do you think? What's the call?
It's a let.
No, it's a fault.
Oh. Net post.
Net post. Because I thought I'd seen it before, but actually it's a fault. I think Basilashvili did it once. I remember against Andy, but it got called as a fault. It was second serve.
That makes sense actually, because the net post isn't part of the net.
Exactly, it's a permanent fixture. You're getting sidetracked. Sorry, love 15 there. Kudermetova gluing a backhand up the line onto the line. It's now in the rally, so Swiatek is under a little bit of pressure. Maybe again, just sort of rallying the ball fairly deep. And eventually forces the error. Again, Kudermetova's lateral movement is criminal compared to Swiatek's. I'm sorry, but it's so underpowered compared to somebody like Swiatek. She can't balance herself when she's getting a ball that heavy, because she's missing pretty easy balls at the moment.
Is that because that's something Kudermetova struggles with, or is that because Iga is just elite in that area?
She definitely, mainly because Swiatek's elite in that area. She could expose this weakness from a lot of, primary hard quarters, I guess. But perfect shot.
Forehand winner, and I love it. So much spin.
I love that one as well. Fantastic shot from Swiatek there. That's about as much risk as you'll see her take on, probably. I think everything else will be just super heavy to the lines. It's mainly Swiatek, Nick. Somebody who's not used to playing on clay day in, day out isn't going to have that. You can see Kudermetova is not sort of sliding and getting power at the same time. She doesn't have that in her arsenal. So as soon as she gets drawn off the court, she feels like she has to go for way too much. And most of the time, she's going to lose the point from that position.
And watching this, it does feel like a typical what Iga Swiatek does to most opponents, pulling them around, bludgeoning them with heavy spin until either she hits the ball past them or forces an error.
Yeah.
And just will run everything down that they'll throw at her, although she's just put that forehand into the net.
That's this is our only chance. If Kudermetova can rush the forehand, as we know that is a problem for Swiatek, then maybe she'll have a chance, but it's just so hard on clay. It's so hard because getting into a position where you can rifle the ball to the forehand is one thing, and then getting enough pace on it to surprise Swiatek is so hard because the ball just slows down a little as well. Swiatek feels like she's got a little bit more time on the ball compared to a hard court. It's just so tough. Alexandrova did it so well because she's one of the few players on tour that can hit the ball that flat. Like there's very, very few players that can do that. Rybakina is another one. Sabalenka, not flat, but certainly big. That big, definitely, which is the main thing. Those kind of three players are always going to be tough matchups. Niemeyer, Jill Niemeyer. That's one I think could be a problem for Swiatek eventually. If she keeps her game that big, keeps growing it, keeps growing the consistency of it, 100% that could be an interesting matchup in the future.
And that's a rushed backhand from Swiatek on the slide that gets into the net, and suddenly Kudermetova has a break point chance.
Very interesting. Okay, so first break point of the match for Swiatek. As I was saying, she's only been broken once per match in the last 8 matches. Is this going to be the break, or did she come up with something a little different, a little riskier? I would say she should try and dictate the play. I know passiveness has kind of been working so far, but I think on a break point, she'd maybe like to just sort of stamp a bit of authority. Here we go.
Yeah, and I think Swiatek's preference is usually to be as aggressive as possible. That's what.
Well, it's controlled aggression. That's the thing. Yeah. It's there's aggression sometimes sounds quite risky, but a lot of the time Swiatek's kind of just rallying at 5 out of 10 and winning points. So I think you're right. Maybe she should ramp it up a little bit. Big second serve to the Kudermetova backhand. Goes massive down the line. There you go, Nick, as if a case in point.
Yeah,
it's back in play.
Oh, Kudermetova's getting it back.
And again, it's still in play.
There we go.
Oh, my God. Oh, she's winning the point from here, yeah.
Pretty resilient from Kudermetova. That was impressive, but it would have taken Swiatek to kind of make an error to her to lose that point.
That was fantastic. I mean, Kudermetova was sitting on the line judge's chair there. Look how far out of the court she is. Oh, my God. Yeah. And that's exactly what I was talking about. So she can't slide. She's never, ever recovering from there. She's still running when she hits it, if you can see that in the replay. Like, there's no slide. She'll run until she's on the line judge's chair and give Swiatek the entire court to hit into. It's just how it works. Unfortunately, she's not got it in her arsenal. Back to Juice.
Yep. Let's see if we can get the Iga Bakery open.
Yeah, we've not. No, we've had a few Iga Bakery.
Had a few.
entries this tournament, haven't we? I don't know why I'm saying that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd love another. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Iga makes the best breadsticks.
Indeed. I mean, do you know what? It's frustrating because the only Iga match I've actually managed to catch was the Alexandrova one. I actually haven't seen any of the other ones apart from this one.
That's a good one to catch.
That's true.
Genuinely, I thought it was one of the best matches this season.
Yeah. Well, I think it was one of the best matches when Alexandrova hit her purple patch and was playing incredible in like second set, beginning of the third. Bring on the breadsticks.
Iga's breadsticks, the best in the business.
And we currently have breadstick point. It's advantage Iga Swiatek.
Breadstick point. Love it.
We should have that. That's a good thing.
Now, here we go. Swiatek, first serve. I think she'll make it and win the point outright. Come on.
No, she's missed the first serve.
Okay. Ambitious. There's a very good example as well. I was talking about Swiatek's serve being more kicky than flat a lot of the time. She does go for that first kicker. I can see she's already won the set, but let's see how she wins it. Second serve to the Kudermetova backhand. Gives herself a backhand down the line.
Lovely.
That's it. That's it. Well played. Well played, Swiatek.
First set, 6-1. Job done. I mean, not job done, but you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, when was that? So what was the stat again? She's only won one match after winning the first set. Well, lost one match even after winning the first set, right?
Whatever.
Ever. I'll just I'll check it out for you now. I'll confirm.
Okay, yeah, double check because I'm sure she's lost from a setup before.
Well, I can't remember what match it would have been. But
might have been pretty early in her career.
It does sound a little far-fetched, doesn't it? By anybody's standards.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not massively surprised, but...
No. Maybe they were talking about Clay. They must have been talking about Clay, right?
Yeah. Clay,
we weren't talking about Clay. She's only lost one match from a setup on Clay, and that was against Karolina Mukova in 2019 in Prague. So
which is not a bad loss.
No, it's not.
Mukova's great.
So total, Nick, that she's lost 11 matches from a setup in her career.
And that confirms what we know, that Iga Swiatek is a fantastic front runner. And once she's got a grip on a match, it's very difficult to loosen it. We saw that with Ons Jabeur in the US Open final last year, where despite throwing everything she could into a comeback, Swiatek just held on for that second set and got that done in straights. Similar situation when they played in Rome last year. Just the two examples that come to mind straight away.
Yeah. I think the one match that we've seen somebody wrestle control from her recently is that Alexandrova match. I cannot think of another match.
Who won the first set in that Ostrava match she had with Krejcikova? Didn't Iga win that first set?
She did, yeah, she did. So that was when Krejcikova won that match eventually, right? And that was amazing from Krejcikova. That was one of the best matches I've seen anybody play against Swiatek. You know, it wasn't the usual just out hit her. It was just phenomenal. It was just phenomenal shot making and rally constructing. It was a clinic.
It's a source of deep irritation for me that I actually didn't see that match in full. Source of deep irritation because I just wasn't in. I had to be out and about on that day. And
you missed out. You missed out, Nick. Honestly,
no decent highlights out there. I'm never going to see it.
There's no decent highlights, is there not? Oh, no, it's a shame. Some of these matches get lost in the annals of time, right? And you never get to see them. I 100% feel your pain there because Tennis TV, they've got their archives of various matches and stuff. But if you want to watch a women's match you've not seen before, it's pretty tough. I've got to say. Yeah, I might have it somewhere in my history actually, Nick. I could send you at some point if I do find it. Because if you have the Prime link for it, that you can just watch it again. It doesn't matter.
Oh, right. Okay. So I didn't realize it was that deep in the Prime archive.
Yeah, there is no archive available, Nick, unless I don't know about this. I'm just aware that if you've clicked on the video before, you can watch it.
Hey, look, give it a go. I will it's a couple of hours long, right?
Yeah, it was a fair while. It was a fair while. It was, in fact, 3 hours and 16 minutes long.
That's some time I've got to set aside for that.
Yeah. It's fantastic, honestly.
Yeah, look, if you get it to work, then I will take you up on that offer.
Yeah, I'll try and find it. I'll see if I can find it.
Oh, again, big hitting from Swiatek to win the opening point of the second set.
It's like, honestly, it's like as soon as Kudermetova's moving side to side, gone, done. She's done. That's it. Honestly, there's just nothing she can do from there. Like,
Keep her on the move.
She's not got that running forehand recovery sort of shot that other players have on a clay court. She's just non-existent on either side. So,
thank you, Eva, for liking the video on Facebook. Like the video on YouTube, Facebook. I don't know how Twitch works. Maybe you can like videos on there. Also get in the chat. Like I know there's 28 of you watching. You've probably got opinions. Talk to Jack and I about it. Love to get in the comments with you. And it's called Talking Tennis for a reason, where we can actually chat and you can commentate with us. So get in there. Send us your thoughts.
Yeah, ask some questions. Absolutely, I'm keen to answer some questions as well, Nick. So yeah, any questions people have in their mind, let me know, please. I'd love to get stuck in. One thing, a bit of food for thought, Nick, because I've been slating Kudermetova quite a bit, but I wanted to talk about how she beat Pegula in the previous match, because that was a really good win.
I missed that match, so I'm relying on you for this.
Yeah, no, I can give you my thoughts on it. I thought Pegula would be the favourite because, and actually she was close to the favourite for the match. She still played really well. But I thought the fact her flat ball in this altitude, the control that Kudermetova would lose on the shots, I thought that could unstick her a bit. Kind of not used to playing from that low contact point, right? But she countered it so well by playing amazing cross forehands. So these angled cross forehands that would force Pegula to play those sort of loopier, higher shots, and then she'd attack. That was our pattern of play every time. Sort of angled to the forehand, and then off the higher ball, attack. If she didn't get the high ball, she'd just reset again. So she obviously showed great restraint there, but it's different when you've got a ball that's very flat. You're not going to get pushed behind the baseline like you do against Swiatek. She could be patient there. She can't be patient here. She's smiling to her coach there after that game win, Nick. Yeah, she is on the board in the second set.
Yeah, I kind of winced because Iga missed a backhand by a little bit too much for my liking. That was a lot. Yeah, I agree. And from what you described, that sounds like the exact kind of pattern of play that I associate with Kudermetova. Very good on the cross court forehand, keeping players pinned down in direction. I'm waving my hands around and knocking my mic. Yeah, that I could see that being a interesting one. What were the fairly long rallies? Because I imagine those two with some rally tolerance probably had some quite long points.
There was. But I kind of thought the rally tolerance of Kudermetova could be a little wavy sometimes. You're still talking about the Kudermetova-Pegula match, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes, you are. Yeah, you are. I was surprised that the rallies went on for as long as they did sometimes. But as I say, I think when you've got a ball that suits you can go in rallies for days. If it's not that heavy a ball for somebody like Kudermetova, then she looks a little bit flaky. But Pegula's ball kind of suited her for staying in the rallies. I'm still surprised Pegula couldn't construct the points actually, as she's normally a lot better at that. But yeah, Kudermetova still did a great job of exploiting that pattern of play. She was really, really good at it. So all credit to her. She's not just a big serve, basically, Nick.
No, definitely not. As Iga again, just there's a little bit of a neutral rally in the middle of the court. And she's slow side drawing Kudermetova out wide, and then with the pace and the spin, just able to drag her out far enough that she could follow up in the other direction, and Kudermetova couldn't get to it.
I think it's interesting. See, when Iga goes forehand cross with anybody, how many players can win in that dynamic, and look for it. See if she goes cross forehand with somebody. Find any player in the world that can break that pattern of play, because Iga is going to go heavier. She's going to go wider first. It is so hard for anybody to win in that position. And I probably would hazard a guess she's the best in the world at it. I don't think there's many. Maybe Sabalenka could go toe-to-toe there, but I don't think anybody else could.
Is there... definitely not on clay. I would assume it'd be different on hard and definitely grass.
Yes, yeah. If it's flat and grass, obviously completely different. But yeah, if hard, it's still going to be tough for anybody to beat her on hard in that dynamic specifically, unless you've got a pretty flat shot. I still think Iga beats Sabalenka most of the time on hard courts. Yeah, I would say so. On hard courts. On maybe if it was particularly fast, it might be a bit different. But most hard courts in the world, I think Iga wins that.
But then that's where the Rebecca dynamic comes in, and where she's been a thorn in Iga's side.
Yeah, a little bit flatter. So it comes on to Iga a little bit quicker. She's a bit more rushed. That's how you can beat her, basically.
And she gives a nice celebration after hitting a lovely backhand with really close to the baseline.
Good shot, Iga. Did we talk about the Iga backhand a bit?
Yes, I was literally about to say the same thing. I remember US Open at 2021. Actually, I was watching the I think I tweeted this during her match with Bencic, the one that she eventually lost. And everyone always was going on about Iga's forehand, and I think it's one of the first things I said about Iga was no one talks about her backhand and how good it is. Great return from Kudermetova on that point. Actually,
she made that. Wow. Okay. Okay. Wow. 30-0.
Big return.
A bit of danger in the second set.
But yeah, that backhand is usually it's fairly scooped, but it's so reliable, and she can do so much damage with it. And I think because the forehand is so impressive with the rotation on it, and the backhand doesn't have as much, people don't talk about it in the same way. But it's such a sturdy shot and such a deceptive weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Go and wax lyrical on the Iga backhand as she takes the point and goes 40-30 up.
I just think she can do anything she likes on it. She can go backhand line in her sleep. She's so good at it. And see if you get her on a short ball on a backhand, you might think you're a bit safer. But she's quite good at sort of changing up the spin rate on it and stuff, scooping it from low positions. She can do anything she likes moving forward on her backhand. And of course, she can do the same thing on her forehand. So you drop the ball short against her, you're done. There's nothing you can do. She's so good in that department. I think she's the best in the world in that department, in fact. And then on return, I mean, it's like up till, I guess, the start of 2022, when she made her crazy run, maybe even 2021. I don't know when it was exactly, but she had the return on her backhand that was just a little bit flaky. She couldn't do too much with it. And then all of a sudden, she started to flatten that shot out, out of nowhere. It's about the only shot that she hits that flat, the first ball on her backhand, and she can send it straight to her opponent's feet super quick. And she obviously worked in that skill for a while. And I remember she played Halep in 2021, and she was getting roasted on that side in the Australian Open. And then she played her a year later, and the backhand returned one or more points when the serve went to her backhand. Then she lost against Halep. Obviously, Halep's not got the biggest serve, but it was just the way she was able to rifle the backhand straight to the baseline and set herself up in offense rather than neutral. It was fantastic.
And that's a trait of Iga that maybe doesn't, I don't think it gets talked about enough, is the variety of pace that you can get from her. We associate her with heavy top spin, rightly. That's how she prefers to play. But one of the brilliant things about that she can do is mix up the pace. If she goes forehand, then backhand, you've got completely different balls sometimes, especially with that slightly flatter shot. But also she can flatten that forehand if she really wants to. There's a lot of different variety of shots she can pull off with it. And I think when she deploys that tactic, that's a very frustrating for an opponent.
Absolutely. It also means, because of the ability to do that, Nick, she's so good at dealing with different heights and spins and stuff. She can't really be junk balled. There's not players who could sort of give her different looks on backhands and slices, for example. I think Iga would beat Barty on clay for sure. Nowadays, because I remember she had that match in Madrid, in fact, right? That was 2 years ago when she played Barty, and it was 4-5 or something, or 5-4, and you knew watching the match, Iga's a whisker away from playing some fantastic tennis right now. I think she'd beat her on a clay court, definitely. Which is a big statement, by the way. That's
it is a big statement, but then again, it's Iga Swiatek, and we know how good she is on a clay court.
Definitely, but I think. I just love Ash Barty. I miss her.
I actually hear a lot less if I miss Ash Barty. Now we've got the Sabalenka and Rebecca in the mix.
Ash Barty was a different breed, though. She was a different breed. She played tennis. Honestly, she played tennis like nobody else.
Oh, I'm not saying that I'm just saying I hear that comment less, but Ash Barty really, you're right. Like such a wonderful game to watch, brought that nice little bit of variety to the women's tour, and was rightfully world number one. She was, the best.
I just think you've got so much to learn watching her. She's such a good point constructor. She knows exactly what she's doing with every ball, when to come forward, when to re-slice, when to go offense, when to go defense. She was just amazing, honestly. So good. And that's why she was such an all-surface player as well. Just so aware of how to change up her game and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, sorry, I'm dreaming days of Ash Barty, where there were 30-all, 1-all in the second set. Swiatek able to come through that game at 30-all. Kudermetova under a little bit of threat as we're going into a long rally. We've not seen her win many of these as she dumps a backhand into the net. It's now 30-40.
More pressure from Swiatek. Great return, setting that up, and the rally tolerance for Kudermetova not enough against the pressure that Iga's just applying.
Yeah, I'd love to see the long rally stats. I've not seen Veronika win many, I've got to say. 30-40, I can talk through this one, Nick, for a break point. Fairly big point in the match, of course. First serve for Kudermetova down the tee. If she's got that, it's a fantastic serve. I think Iga's going to challenge, maybe.
Yeah, I think that was an ace. No, she's not challenging. I think I'm slightly ahead of you now. You might want to move forward.
I can. I'm just a smidgen behind, I think. But
yeah, you're not far behind. It's literally 5 seconds.
I've just seen Kudermetova rifle another serve down the tee. Really well placed. Should win the point. Oh, hold on. Swiatek's lobbed. Oh, it's in. Poor Kudermetova. She should have won that point. For some reason, it's still going. Great forehand down the line, though, to be fair. Well played. I think Swiatek just berating herself a little bit for playing that back cross. Maybe not going for the risky shot, which she should have done. Although Kudermetova, of course, should have had that point. She was right on top of the net. Chose the wrong way.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And yeah. She fought hard. It kind of neutralized the point where either player could have won that.
That's one there where you just have to go loopy and high. Maybe I think Swiatek thought she was going to be able to hit the forehand a bit harder, actually. But I mean, she was dead as a dodo there, totally out the point.
I mean, look, if Kudermetova comes through this hold, that's going to be a good hold for her. Resisting the pressure to get a second game on the board in this set, keep it competitive.
Do we call it a consolation hold? Because as I was just thinking there, it doesn't look like it's a given she's going to hold this game either.
She's just dumped that forehand into the net. Yeah. No, it's not a given.
It feels like a consolation. I think every single, and this is the thing with Swiatek, this is why I say you have to win 3 points on serve. Every single service game is under threat. Every single one. And again, how many players can go onto court and feel like they're not under threat on any of their service games, or at least one a set would be nice. There's not many. It would have to be a really fast court. If it's a clay court, I cannot recall one match in my mind where there was an opponent on the other side of the net of Swiatek that didn't get just bombarded every single time they went to serve. Can you think of any, Nick? I mean, is Swiatek now won her last 1, 2, 3, 4 titles she's played on clay, right? I know she lost in Warsaw. Sorry,
but that was against Garcia, who was playing one of the matches of her life. Yeah,
she returned phenomenally. That was all about the return, to be fair, where she was able to put Swiatek's service games under threat every single. I mean, is that's probably the key, actually, Nick. I'm saying that the serve you'd need to win against Swiatek on serve is so difficult that probably you're looking to break every time. That's maybe your only chance. It's quite tough to say which is better, but I would say, you have to be a phenomenal returner to have any chance on clay. Definitely. The Garcia one was just... Hi, Ashley.
Kudermetova has double faulted its break point opportunity for Iga Swiatek. And you can tell the pressure that Kudermetova's under, because that first serve was ballooned long. Right there. So...
this is a big point, Nick.
Yeah, definitely.
You seen this? Easy forehand from Kudermetova there, straight into the net. The team are clapping; they love it. Iga gets.
I've just seen it hit the net. Yeah.
I'm too far ahead again, Nick.
No, I like when you said it hit the forehand of the net, and then 2 seconds later it hit. But it's fine. I think it makes sense for you to be ahead if you're the one talking through.
Well, I don't want to take all the points away from you, Nick. I love your commentary sometimes.
Only sometimes. No.
Only when I can keep up. Sometimes I'm like half asleep and I'm like, Nick, you've went a million miles an hour there.
I can't keep up with me sometimes. Like you'll hear I'll get a player mix up. Like, no, it's not that player, but too late. I've already said it, so we'll keep going.
I meant the midpoint commentary, right? Your commentary across the board, Nick, is beautiful. Of course it is. I can always keep up with that. But midpoint commentary, I'm like, this man's too fast for me, man. Too fast for me.
I need to slow down sometimes. I need to.
No, I like it. I like it. That's what you do. That's what they do on the Wimbledon radio and stuff. You know, when they're talking for the points, it's just like a million miles an hour, same speed as the rallies. I love it.
I think it's because I spent a lot of time listening to tennis on the radio, because I didn't have a package to watch tennis live outside of Wimbledon or whenever it was on the BBC. So US Open, we didn't have Sky Sports, so I would keep up with the US Open by listening to the radio every night. So I've probably just picked it up from listening to David Law, Russell Fuller, Jonathan Overand.
Yeah.
Just doing that and wanting to have a go.
Well, you've learned from the best, Nick, obviously. I love it. Jane as well. Hi, Jane. I noticed you said good to see you, Jack. Well, there is no one better than Jack for money matches. Yeah, I love them so much. Although I'm falling out of love a little bit, obviously, recently. Did he lose today? I don't even know. I didn't check.
I didn't check, actually.
Oh, Jane, let's find out. Hold on. Andy Murray.
How do you not know if Andy Murray won or lost? No, he won. He won.
He beat Locally. That's actually quite a big deal. I thought he was going to lose that.
He's got Van Ash tomorrow.
Okay, well, he'll probably lose that. So Andy Murray wastes 4 match points but still wins. Christ, I'm so glad I didn't see that. Man, okay. Nick, my Andy allegiance has been wavering. I still love him, but we're going through a pretty rough spell recently.
Is that because of what he's done to you on clay?
Yeah, and I knew that going in, but you get your hopes up, and he talks about this being one of his last chances at the French. Like, why would he play the French if he didn't have any chance? He must have some chance, right? Wrong.
Absolutely.
Wrong. He's got zero chance, Nick. He's got zero chance at the French. He's just
Yeah, I would agree. Stan Wawrinka's got more chance of winning the French.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Stan's phenomenal in clay at the moment. It was playing match to match, isn't it? He just looks so tired after a little while every single time he plays. Just checking the last one he lost there. He lost to Rublev 5-4. That was a close one. I remember that one. He's been playing really well. Back to the match. Sorry, Nick, getting sidetracked a little bit there.
Yeah.
Iga 15-love up in her service game. Again, not much threatening from the Russian at the moment. We were talking about it a minute ago. If you are going to beat Swiatek on the surface, you've got to challenge her on return consistently. Only getting broken once on average per match in her last 8 matches is not going to get the job done, regardless of who you are. Maybe Sabalenka can do it. We have not seen anything close to the level on return required from Veronika Kudermetova so far, though.
Yeah, and she's just going too big now. She's just like that. That was a desperation backhand that went long. That went wide and long to give Swiatek 30 love. That was a feeling like she has to hit big to do something.
Yeah,
and that's how players often feel playing against Swiatek. That's what she makes them do, is overplay to have a hope. Which is why Alexandrova got into it, because she managed to redline. Yeah.
One of the few players that can redline that high. Again, interesting to see them both in neutral here. Kudermetova should be able to take control of the rally, but Swiatek's ability to recover from the forehand is just amazing. And then there you go. Kudermetova can't handle the weight of the shot. She's raging at herself. I see that Bakery is open for business. She might have a couple of goods to sell by the end of this evening. We'll see. She's been playing well enough, I think. A couple of breadsticks, maybe. Do we start projecting forward a bit, Nick? Should we start talking about the prospect of a Sabalenka-Swiatek final?
I mean, we're kind of at that point. It's going to take a drop from Iga for it not to happen, or at least...
Yeah, pretty big drop.
Pretty big drop. She thought she'd aced there, but disappointed to find out she hadn't.
She's challenging for fun, I think. Yeah, here we go. No, Iga. Not the spot server of our Ash Barty dreams, unfortunately. Second serve.
It wasn't that far out though.
No, it wasn't, to be fair.
Like, I think that from the expression on her face, that was definitely a really. I'm challenging that. Look.
Big fat second serve there to the backhand. Again, they're going neutral. Can Kudermetova do anything off the weight of shot? It's that slide. It's that slide. It's her ability to just like totally balance herself and then just hop into the middle of the court again. There's like nobody who does it better. Nobody. Nobody.
Although from your commentary, it makes it sound like Iga won the point. She actually didn't. She actually pulled the forehand wide.
She did, yeah. She did. Sorry, but
but you're right. The Iga slide, on the women's tour, there's no one out there better.
I don't think so. Anyway, so maybe if I put golf under the microscope, she's pretty good at that sort of defensive stuff. Certainly on a hard court, not the sliding, but the ability to recover from that wing. But golf's not having a great time in the rest of her game, is she? Jesus.
No, I mean, look, we can go on about that, but it's the forehand that's the main problem. Which I've talked to so many different people about that forehand, and I've ended up hearing lots of different views about what's wrong with it. It's really odd. Everybody's
a biomechanics expert when it comes to Coco Gauff's forehand, right?
I think I've spoken to you possibly once about it. I don't know if we ever talked about it. Definitely talked to Vanch about it. Talked to Renee Stubbs about it on my WTA show, and a couple of other people. And like, it's gone from opinions on it's the grip that's wrong, it's the swing that's wrong, it's the footwork that's off.
It's the grip that's wrong. Who said the grip was wrong?
Oh gosh, can't remember. I think.
Well, you might not want to throw them in
a conversation with Vanch actually, but
right. Well, I'll quiz Vanch about that on Sunday. I'm interested to hear what he thinks.
There's definitely a couple of people who I think I've definitely spoken to on Twitter who think that the grip's a little too extreme.
Yeah, I thought that, but it can't be much more extreme than Iga's.
Sure. Yeah, that's when you look at Iga's grip, you're like, well, actually, Iga makes it work.
Yeah, it's just, I wouldn't have said it was the grip. You can still hit through the ball with, I don't know how far round she is. Maybe she's all the way to properly Western.
It's a very, very extreme Western grip.
Maybe it is a problem. I'm very happy to query Vanch on it because I'd like to know. But I get what you're saying. It's very hard to hit through the ball properly when you're sort of catching off a wine grip. Some players make it work, but Gauff certainly seems to have a lack of penetration through the court with it, definitely. So,
yeah. But going to what you were saying, like, do we look ahead into an Iga Arena final? I mean, another 1v2. This is shaping up into a tasty rivalry potentially, but I'm not getting my hopes up too much because, well, the clay's going to slow down next couple of weeks. And we know how, like, Arena got to the semi-finals at Rome, which is a really good result for her last year, but she's never been past the third round of the French.
Of course. Wow. Was that Georgie Pavlyuchenkova? Not sure who she lost in 2020.
Beat her last year. But she's been third round 3 consecutive years. I'm expecting her to break that duck this year. She's playing too well not to.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I would struggle to see. I struggle to like if she gets to go real clay court player on a slower surface. Not even just Iga, like a Krejcikova, Sakari even.
You could see her getting beat, exactly. 'Cause she could get unstuck a little bit. If there's still any doubts in her game, if there's still problems just really going for her shots, she'll struggle to hit through the conditions against proper clay quarters, maybe. So Sarah Sorribes Tormos of the world, who knows?
Could you imagine that? Owen would love that.
Yeah, exactly. It could happen, though. It could happen.
First round draw against Sarah Sorribes Tormo, biggest shock of the French Open.
That would be a dark horse. That would 100% be a dark horse. By the way, Kudermetova was up 30-love in this game. Now 30-40, again, just 3 errors. She does manage to draw the return error from Swiatek there to get back to deuce. But it's very innocuous stuff, isn't it, sometimes, that you're barely watching the match, 3 hours like that, and then you're down 30-40. It's very easy for the games to slip away from you when you're playing Iga. in this sort of mood.
Yeah. So going back to kind of like, I was saying that to kind of correct my sort of statement of the shape up to be a tasty original rivalry. I think it's going to get tasty when they move to American hard courts. I would say, because grass, Iga has no chance against Sabalenka. Really,
yeah, probably.
She's never been a top 60 player on the grass.
That's rough. She can't have played many matches though, right?
Not that many, no. But and that's a duck I expected to break at some point, maybe even this year. But yeah, I just find that a ridiculous stat.
I remember watching her last year, and she's trying to play on grass like it's a clay court. She's trying to slide around, and because it's a natural surface underneath her feet, she feels like she should be able to do the same stuff in terms of movement. She just can't. It's not how grass works. It's not how grass works. I thought, by the way, 4-1 again, 2 innocuous shots to get the fifth game, sixth game of this set, even fifth game.
Yeah, she's just too solid right now, Iga. She just knows what she needs to do to just wear Kudermetova down.
Yeah, and I mean, for those who missed it earlier, I was just talking about the fact Swiatek's ball's so heavy. Kudermetova can't recover when she's drawn out wide. She can play very average stuff by her standards and come out on top here. And it's kind of, we've not seen anything very special from her. She's had a few confidence shots here and there, but who knows? Maybe, Nick, this could be unfavourable for her. She's not really been challenged to place her serve. She's not been challenged to go for the lines or anything like that. Maybe that's what's required against Sabalenka, and she could be back to feeling a little bit undercooked. Could work the opposite way for
her. It could do. I think when Iga's playing like this, you feel like that she's kind of purring. It's hard to tell. I think it's going to be a very competitive final. It's going to come down to how the first set goes. Yeah.
I could see Sabalenka stealing the first set for that reason. Just maybe Swiatek's a little bit undercooked, and then I just realised the backhand that Juice must have went in. There was an insane backhand inside out winner that Swiatek hit. So yeah, has been a few special things. Sorry. What was I saying? Sabalenka's
Sabalenka,
could steal the first set is what I said.
Yeah.
And then it's anybody's game if she steals the first set. It's got to be about 50-50 if she takes the first set, right?
Yeah. I could see Iga kind of potentially coming back. I could see Iga getting frustrated.
Yeah, actually, it's quite hard to call the comeback. It's hard to call the comeback because she's not come back from a set down for a while. Should we look up the stats on that one?
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often, which frustrates me as a fan.
Yeah. No, it doesn't happen that often at all. Pliskova, of course, in Stuttgart.
Yeah.
And then the one before that was Pegula in San Diego, so all the way back in October. So it's a fair while ago.
Yeah. And I think whenever I watch Iga going a set down, she gets frustrated when that happens. And she's like, but I should be winning this.
She does. She can look a little lost for me. I remember the Pegula one at the start of the year, and the first set went like that. And she was obviously very upset by the end of the match. She must have been holding a lot in during the match. I think she just looked a bit overwhelmed. She didn't really know how to stop the rut. There hasn't been a ton of times where she's got her back against the wall like that. And she really has to change her strategy, basically.
And that's the thing that I really want to see from her. That's more than actually the serve. Is like, I want to see that iconic battling win from a Swiatek. That would be also like for her more than anything else. So yeah, I did that. And that's going to make her feel, I think if anything, that's probably going to be the moment she really truly feels unbeatable.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's rare. It is rare. I mean, I'm remembering ones like Kaya Kanepi at the Australian Open last year. That was a fantastic one to sort of start her crazy run of form. The Samsonova one in Stuttgart last year, that was like one of my favourite matches.
Sabalenka US Open last year.
Yes, that was a very well fought one. Definitely deserves a shout out as well, Nick. 100%. Yeah, there's been a few like that, and we need to see a little bit more of that grittiness from her. I'd like to see that. I think that would help her. From everything she said, that I think that would help her.
Yeah, we see it so many times from Serena Williams over the years. Would you? Can you think of a really gritted out Ash Barty win? I can think of a couple for Osaka, but I can't think of one for Osaka, which was the Muguruza match in Australia 21. But I can't think of one for Barty off the top of my head.
It's interesting because all these matches I'm thinking of were gritty at times, but then they were kind of all straight sets anyway. So like, Kerber,
weird faltering in like a second set and then coming through anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like Kerber in Wimbledon in 2021. That was a fantastic semi-final, and she still managed to come through like 5-4 or whatever it was. And I mean,
a little bit of sorry, just to interrupt. A little bit of a mind blank from Iga. She puts a backhand into the net and gives Kudermetova 2 breakpoint opportunities.
I assumed that was 40-15 at the corner of my eye, Nick. Sorry.
Nope.
15-40. Big first serve out wide. It is returned by Kudermetova, though they are in neutral. So any sort of underconfidence here, and Swiatek could spray something. Not a touch of it, though, as she gets a backhand down the line. Perfect to win the point.
Yeah, the moment you said perfect was when the ball hit the court.
Yeah.
That was perfect timing.
Love that. So it's not even flattening that out. That's like, the shape on it. It's just perfect. Placement was perfect.
Gorgeous backhand.
So good.
And she's pumping herself up for that.
Not sure what Kudermetova's annoyed about there. She's saying something. Anyway, 30-40, second break point. A great first serve return. Looks like Swiatek's got Kudermetova on the run, though. We kind of know how these points end. Yeah, Kudermetova with no backhand defense at all, and it gets put in the net, unfortunately. Juice.
Yeah, very, very good from Swiatek, steadying the ship and just doing what's been working for the last hour or so.
Just moving her around, right? It's just getting the angles, basically, against Kudermetova. It's not the sort of player who's going to move side to side that well.
I tell you what, Ashley, if you're still watching, are you looking forward to potentially commentating on a Swiatek Sabalenka final with me?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm excited to hear that. I'll have it on while I'm in Edinburgh that day, I think. I can still watch it. I still
working.
Watch it. No, leisure, Nick. So I'll keep it on in the background.
Kudermetova's got another breakpoint chance. He could put. Went a bit long. Was it a forehand? Wasn't really playing that much at the corner.
Yeah, I missed how it ended, but yeah, breakpoint number 3. I can talk through this one as well. Swiatek just taking her time before a first serve out wide, but she does miss it. Goes for a second serve now. Probably going to go for old reliable, nice and kicky to the backhand, I would imagine.
Keep it high.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be unpredictable. Big second serve to the Kudermetova backhand. Backhand in play from Swiatek. Kudermetova's got a forehand to defend. She's still on the point. As soon as she's been... Oh, the Real's still alive. Sorry, I thought that went out. But Kudermetova sprays a backhand wide.
Yeah.
I was about to say, the backhand defense from Kudermetova has been the weakest shot on the court. Every time she's been drawn back to that side, very little she can do. And
you can tell Swiatek is specifically targeting that area now. I think I'm seeing far more balls in the Kudermetova backhand section of the court than pretty much anywhere else.
Yeah. Just getting that angled one, right?
Exactly. And we know, again, Iga and angles.
A match made in heaven. Exactly, Nick.
Another match made in heaven. Like, I have to say, these on-running kits have been really good for her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Definitely upped her speed, right?
Well, maybe not up her speed, but big win from Kudermetova.
Yeah, that was very nice. Very good flat forehand down the line there. Perfect shot, in fact. That's about as red liney as you're going to see Veronika Kudermetova. Few chances like that she will get. She has to take, which is why she's been getting a bit annoyed at herself. A 4th break point here to keep herself somewhat alive, but semi-breathing. First serve to the Kudermetova backhand wins the point outright. Was it on purpose? Probably, maybe. Sometimes I doubt Swiatek's serve placement. I sometimes think she just puts it in, to be honest. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, loads of pace on it, enough to force the error.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with necessarily putting it in if it, keeps you in the point.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the. I think that was something that sort of my coach was always like. Back when was I had to have a coach about 10 years ago, latest, like just repetitive, if you do it over and in. That was like number one. If you're going to do anything, get it over and in.
Yeah, fair. If you can put it in with pace though, even if it's not placed, if you've got ground strokes like Swiatek's, it really, honestly, doesn't matter. We diss her serve a lot, but it does the job a lot of the time.
Ground strokes like that forehand winner, which is always fantastic to see when she pulls that off.
It's terrifying stuff, isn't it? It really is. Shout out to my pal Anna today, by the way. Anna Brogan. Have I ever talked about her to you, Nick, before?
I think you've mentioned her, yeah.
Yeah, world number 350 or so. If you are watching Anna, unlucky today. She was up, I think, a tie break in the second set, won the first set, and she had 5 match points, Nick.
Oh, that hurts.
I know.
That hurts.
Unlucky, but keep going. Obviously, such a close match. Very unlucky to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
Ash Swiatek, by the way, wins that game point. She is now 5-1 up. Is this curtains?
Another big, nice sort of up the line, almost inside out forehand winner that was very close to the line, and great to see. So, is this curtains? I can see Kudermetova getting frustrated she couldn't break.
I mean,
folding a little bit here.
I was 100% curtains. I'm just wondering when the curtains will fall. This game or the next, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although we did see Swiatek 5-2 up against Alexandrova the other day.
That's true.
Alexandrova comes back, takes it to a tiebreak, wins the tiebreak, rattles Swiatek for pretty much the entirety of the third set as well. It was a good match.
You're saying this as a Ghost is saying you're going to be amazed when Kudermetova pulls this one out.
Here's where
the optimism.
Kudermetova going beast mode. I did touch on this at the start of the match, Ghost. I don't think I've ever seen beast mode from Kudermetova. The red line of Kudermetova is just it's not mega high. I'm sorry, it's not. She can red line that forehand a little bit, but apart from that, meh.
Mm-hmm. Very similar to Kasatkina in some ways.
What, in terms of her movement, or just like what red line? Do you mean
red lining?
Yeah, there's not a massive red line to Kasatkina's game either. Pretty high baseline.
Yeah, the way they execute very different. Kasatkina's got a little bit more variety. She's a better mover.
Yeah. She doesn't have a serve.
Yeah, Kudermetova has a serve. Kasatkina doesn't.
Kasatkina's serve has been criminal recently. She was rolling it in at 50 miles an hour the other day. I mean, over and in, right, Nick? I mean,
yeah, over and in.
To be fair to her.
Have I ever told you the story of how I hit possibly the worst ace of all time?
No, but I'm sure there's a lot of club players out there that could challenge you, Nick. But go on.
I was playing doubles. I was the youngest person in this doubles match by about 30 years. But they were all far more experienced. I was a teenager, and I hit this serve that dribbled over the net.
Yeah, but that's a let, right?
No, because it didn't make contact with the let cord.
Huh?
It didn't hit the net.
Oh, right. Okay.
It didn't hit the net. It just it was just that soft, and the guy was standing so far back. I see. It barely bounced.
Jeez,
it was. I had to apologize for it. I just instinctively think I'm so sorry. That was the worst ace of all time.
From aces to double faults, Kudermetova double faults and 30 all, and we are at our first match point of the match. First match point of the match, even. Swiatek 30-40. I'll talk you through this one. Big first serve from Kudermetova down the tee, perfectly placed. Swiatek does get it back. What are you doing, Kudermetova? Was going to go forehand, big, deep. However, changes her mind at the last second to try and drop shot. And it's a plop shot into the net. Swiatek wins the match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a little bit of a rush of blood to the head from Kudermetova there, right?
Yeah. I mean, I could see what she's saying. She put some disguise in it. She was trying to be too clever.
No, it just never works. Never works. Go for
No.
the first thing in your mind most of the time. Definitely.
I think I know what she was trying to. I think she was going for the drop shot, but
She was. It
yeah.
was horrendous, but
It was really poorly executed.
yeah, she was. It might have worked, but anyway, yeah. What was that? 6-1, 6-1. It was two breadsticks to the Iga bakery.
Bring on the bakery.
See, when you actually watch it, it doesn't feel like it was 6-1, 6-1, I guess. But we were talking about that. Iga can just do anything with a rally ball and be on top of the point because it's such a heavy ball and it's not something Kudermetova is used to challenging when she's drawn to her left and her right, and more than enough to win that match. Yeah, 6-1, 6-1. Sab's Swiatek in the final, Nick.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. If they're both in form, and they're both this is gonna be ideal altitude conditions versus favored surface.
Yeah, I agree. So it becomes very close. What's Go saying here?
Are we saying this is boring?
Iga whooping up on chicks is hella boring, right? I mean, this is the semi-final. Yeah, I tuned in I actually went to my pals to watch Iga Martic yesterday. And we tuned into Jamie Murray's doubles match. It was like, this is six love. It's fun watching Swiatek getting massive winners, but I agree. Unfortunately, Iga being that good doesn't make for amazing tennis sometimes. You get the odd amazing forehand winner, but she doesn't have to play fantastically to beat players like Kudermetova. Yeah, it's fair. Could have been more exciting. But I honestly believe it's not a crazy thing to say this, but the Swiatek Sabalenka final, the potential there is massive.
I think a lot of it also depends if you enjoy the style of play. Like, I enjoy watching Iga's style of play. Heavy spin, lots of different kind of shots, great rally tolerance. I'll watch that even if it's 6-1, 6-1, and I'll enjoy watching that happen. Whereas I probably or an Ash Barty 6-1, 6-1 whenever that happened. Like, she's going to be moving people around the court. But if you're watching, say, a serve dominated 6-1, 6-1 where the other person can't get a return in, and is getting picked off, then it's not interesting. So I think I think it depends on taste. I agree in terms of I liking a competitive aspect. See what you mean, but again, look, we're talking about this. It's pros and cons to how competitive you want things to be in tennis, because we want this elite group at the top to make things interesting, because that's what the big three in the men's side gave us. That's what we kind of had maybe on and off for a few years on the women's tour, maybe back in the 90s. But the downside of that is it's not competitive up until the latter stage of the tournament. And if it's a tournament where, say, some big names aren't there, or they aren't, or they have a bad day, then it's not going to get into the final even. I
do get what Ghost is saying. There's few matches where there's few matches where it's competitive either way in Swiatek's recent career. Even when she's losing, she's losing pretty handily. So I get the apprehension to tune into her matches. But I'm there. I'm going to be watching it in some capacity, whether it's on my phone, whatever. I would love to see it. I think it could be fantastic. I just remember how well Sabalenka served when they played at the WTA finals. And I think these sort of conditions, me and Nick were saying, that definitely suit her serve a lot. So she's got chances in her service games. And then the fact that the balls might spray a little bit every so often in return, that might take a little bit of time to get used to. But when she can get onto the return, she'll be a real threat in every single game, which is what you need against Swiatek. It's unlikely you win if you can't do something off the first ball on both service and return.
What I will say about that WTA finals match is I still believe Iga could have won that match. I think she kind of folded a bit in that deciding set. So there's hope for some competition there.
Sabalenka served out of her mind, though. It was
she did. But I do remember Iga making a critical error very early on in that third set that kind of decided it.
Yeah.
And I think there was some really weird unforced errors thrown in there. So, Sabalenka played amazing, and you have to do that even when Iga's having a bad day. But I guess my point is I still think, it's not a slam dunk in those conditions. Sabalenka's going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, Nick, do we close up shop there?
I think we should. I mean, it's midnight in Europe. It's 11:30 here. And John's got to rush off to do Iga's press conference. And but I think we leave it there. But it's been great being back on and chatting to you about tennis again, Jack.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick. Yeah, great to see you. It's been a wee while, so yeah, lovely to talk to you. Do we give any questions to John to ask Iga? Is he anything bothersome? Well, I don't know, John. What about? Do you get bored of winning, Iga? You know, I'm sure she'd like that. To be fair, she normally answers with some sort of questions, even when the questions are some sort of answer when the questions are inane. Right? She'll give you something funny, regardless of what you ask her.
Yeah, unless the question's incredibly dumb, which we have occasionally.
Exactly. I honestly would be interested. I don't know if you'll ask her this, John, but I'd be interested to know how she rates her level. She would never answer this, honestly, but how she rates her level when she plays players like Kudermetova. So, like, does she have to play average? I don't even know how you'd word that without. She's never going to answer that. But anyway, I would love to know that. Like, does she think, I've got to play 5 out of 10 here to win? I've got to play 9 out of 10 here to win? I'm sure she'll just say it's a very tough match. You know, every match is really tough. I've got to play 10 out of 10. But if she gave an honest answer to that, I'd love to know. Because it feels like she just rolls the ball in a lot of the time with the weight she puts on the ball. Yeah, that's my thoughts anyway. Like, one day I'll get the honest answer out of Iga. She does seem like such an affable character. I don't know. I think she'd love to give her honest thoughts.
Give it a go.
Questions like that. Exactly. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you got any questions, Nick, before we go?
I think for Iga, I'd probably be asking her how she's feeling about playing an altitude. She's probably already had this question. I haven't paid attention to my conferences, but how actually do you what's it like? What's the experience for you, given that maybe it's not ideal? That would be because she can answer those kind of questions quite honestly. So that might be where I would go.
Yeah, are you scared of the Sabalenka serve in these sort of conditions? Not scared, but how do you rate it? Do you expect that to be a bit of a weapon in the final? Yeah. Or how does it compare to Stuttgart playing Sabalenka in Madrid? Something like that, maybe. That may be quite interesting.
That would definitely be interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, have fun next couple of days. Are you on tomorrow, or are you?
No,
you doing comps tomorrow?
No. I'm here for I don't think I am, John. Am I? Pretty sure I'm not. No, I'm here for the final.
No, you're doing the final. So we're both doing the final. So you'll next see us on Talking Tennis doing different finals. So that's going to be a good weekend. I would say good weekend of tennis ahead.
Yeah. Tune in for both of us. Catch the finals, of course. And there's still tennis on tomorrow. You've got Coric, Alcaraz, of course, Struff, Karatsev, a few of the ladies doubles as well. Golf and Pegula in contention, for example. But yeah, until then, let's leave the viewers alone, shall we, Nick?
All right. Have a good night's sleep, everyone.
Yeah, enjoy. Good night, Nick. Great to see you as always. This has been Talking Tennis. We'll catch you very, very soon. Thanks very much, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.